Okay, I need to get some more people up on the podium. We've got some Njamal people here from Western Australia, the Pilbara, who've done a fascinating agreement in the Pilbara with FMG, and it's something that the Yolngu are trying to do here with satellite deposits of bauxite. Not often do the Yolngu get one-upped or someone get ahead of them, but I think the Njamal might have jumped ahead here. There's 3 representatives, Mavis Westermann, who's a senior leader, Sharon McGann, and Abby Ramirez Shillingford, who's an Indigenous lawyer who's helped. So could you ladies come up with Tom Weaver, who's the native title senior from FMG. We need to make some space.
Thanks, Sean. Look, I will be brief and followed up by the much more interesting Njamal people. Fortescue's approach to native title is different to many other companies. We too respect the rights of traditional landowners, and I should have started by thanking the traditional landowners and paying my respects to their elders past and present of this land. Our approach is a little different. Our rights, we too, I was at the conference last week that Warren talked about yesterday with the United Nations Special Rapporteur, and we heard a lot about rights and what rights meant and what rights needed to be respected. And the 2 rights that were conspicuously absent from that conversation were the right to a job and the right to economic development. And that's where Fortescue focuses its efforts. We too acknowledge that compensation needs to be paid, and there's a financial element of that. Our focus again is different. We focus on the VTech program. It's a massive investment for us. Bringing somebody from welfare to work and a career path is a massive investment. But we also have an enormous focus on Aboriginal contracting, picking up on something that Wayne said earlier. We are a very young company. We've only been shipping ore for 4 years. We're now the 4th biggest iron ore producer in the world, or we were last time I looked. I'm not sure what the iron ore price has done to us in the last few days, but there you go. Our approach has been to set ourselves some really what we call stretch targets. We've decided that by June next year, and it's from June this year, we will have awarded $1 billion in contracts to Aboriginal contractors, with the vast majority, in fact almost entirely, that money going to native title groups with whom we have an agreement. We do that by a similar methodology that we take to the VTech program. We start with the groups in helping them to develop business structures. We employ business development managers ourselves. We have an Aboriginal business centre. We start by working with the groups on governance structures, on getting company structures together. We also assist in funding external business analysts. We then assist in regular meetings, bringing people down, helping them to put together the governance structures that are necessary to run a business. We'll even, in some cases, partner them with long-term mentors if that's what we need. Obviously, different groups start with us at different stages of the development. Some of them already have companies, and in that case, it's a much easier job for us. To date, and really it's really in the last about 8 months, we've awarded $690 million in contracts to 59 different Aboriginal companies across the Pilbara, and we're well on our way to reaching our $1 billion target. We will set ourselves in true Fortescue fashion further stretch targets as we get nearer to that one, so it's a bit of a watch this space. Look, it's obviously, well perhaps not obviously, it is true and fair to say that sometimes our approach is unpopular, and sometimes the native title negotiations that we are engaged in can start to get bogged down, but in increasingly instances the native title groups are coming to us with really extraordinary ideas for how they can achieve the future that they want for themselves and for their people, and we can provide them with the supports and the opportunities that sit comfortably with our business ethic. And the Njamal people are such a group. We were negotiating an agreement with them for a mine that we would like to build, and they came to us with a really extraordinary idea for how we could work with them, and I will hand over to the Njamal to tell you all about that. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. We would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of whose country we meet on today and pay our respects to elders past and present. We also wish to thank you for giving us this opportunity to be here today so that we can share with you good practice mining agreement and a stepping stone to what we see as an Indigenous future in the Pilbara. I'm Abby Ramirez Shillingford. I'm a Ngarluma Ninjabandi woman from the Pilbara, and I'm also the Njamal claim lawyer. I work for Yamaji Marlborough Aboriginal Corporation. WIMAC is the native title rep body for the traditional owners of the Pilbara, Murchison and Gascoyne regions of WA. With me today is Mavis Westermann, a Njamal elder, and Sharon McGann, a Njamal woman who has been active in the negotiations of the FMG Glacier Valley and North Star Project Area Agreement, and who is also an active committee working member who is now helping to set up the Njamal business enterprise. This unique agreement was proposed by the Njamal people and is believed to be the first joint venture of its kind. The Njamal signed a deal with Fortescue in December last year that will make them managers of a mine, eventually producing 100 million tonnes of iron ore. It will provide for a 50% share in the joint venture mining operation of magnetite. The Njamal will mine the ore on the tenement, covering 847 square kilometres of their native title claim, and Fortescue will buy it at an agreed price, and they will also pay for an annual management fee. Under this agreement, there will be protection of significant Njamal heritage sites, including engraved rock art and other sacred sites, of which exclusion zones have been put in place to support the continuation of Njamal law and custom. Also under the agreement are training and employment opportunities, business development opportunities, and including a Njamal pathway from prison program and a Njamal ranger program. Under this model, FMG and the Njamal people are business partners, and this signifies a new phase of collaboration between Aboriginal groups and mining in the Pilbara, and can also be seen as a response to Aboriginal people's self-determination. And now Sharon will tell us more about it.
Thank you for inviting us here to talk about this unique agreement. More of the Njamal people would have loved to have been here, but it was quite short notice, so I will put my hand up to try and come and explain the best I can. I acknowledge the traditional owners of this country. It's a beautiful place to be, so much different from the Pilbara, but still very special to when you come on any Aboriginal land. Basically, the key features of this agreement is it puts Njamal in a unique commercial partnership with FMG and any others we choose, and we choose. I guess to give you a bit of background on Njamal, we've been in various mining agreements with different companies for about the last 10 years, and we weren't really going anywhere with a lot of it. We had all the problems that you have been hearing about today with the trust structures and the welfare type mentality and all that, and our people said we want to do something different. We want to really see Njamal develop on a number of different levels, and so when this deal came up, we didn't want to just talk about royalty. We wanted to talk about how can we really make more of this and get more for our community and become a true commercial enterprise. When I talk about the agreement, it's not just one agreement. There's 4 different kind of agreements. I guess we've got a fallback position with our project area agreement, which provides all the things that most of our other agreements do with royalties and employment training, different programs and those sorts of things. So the worst we can get is that, and we did negotiate a better rate too with FMG based on different scenarios. But there's also a commercial joint venture agreement, which means we have to set up Njamal mining and get that operational, and then enter into this joint venture with FMG to commence operations in approximately 2015. After some preliminary feel our way, see how we go with doing some smaller contracts, those sorts of things. basically, in comparison to the other agreements, it just gives us so much more opportunity, but we have to make it happen. It is up to us. We have to put the right things in place. We have to put the right governance structures in place. Running parallel with these agreements is a comprehensive strategic planning process, which pretty much I'm in charge of a little bit, putting together. A lot of community consultation is going on with that, and forming effective partnerships, whether they be in government, non-government, the industry, whoever we think can help us achieve our vision. We have the roadmap being formed about where we want to be at a whole different levels, a lot of levels, with our, for example, our law and culture, our governance, the different partnerships, economic development, employment and training, which is a real passion of mine because on the white fella side, I'm a teacher, a high school teacher, so that's really important to me, all of those sorts of things. So we have all of this stuff happening, and FMG have been very supportive of that because they recognise this is not just about a commercial agreement, it's about our community development and all those other things as well to make this work properly, to build the structures in place. In developing the agreement, we had to get a lot of advice. It's a very complicated commercial agreement, and so FMG was supportive of that. They said, we'll pay for it. Who do you want to do it? You choose, again. So we chose the legal advice, commercial lawyers. We chose the accountancy advice, and so we could weigh up what was better, basically, to go down this stream or that way. And that's all the stuff that was done. We spent about 2 years negotiating, particularly on the JV side with FMG, until we felt comfortable that we had it right. We took it back to our community, had several community meetings to make sure everyone understood what we were entering into, and then the agreement was signed off. I think most heartening for us is the support that we've had from our elders, who have, as many of you know, if you know anything about the Njamal people, had their origins in the pastoral workers' strike in the 40s. They're the people who led that and wanted to do something back then in terms of enterprise. So our old people who worked on the stations for no wages, rations, whatever you want to call it, have been really heartened by this agreement that, you know, we are really getting more equality in how we're determining our agreements now. Last week, we went out to site, took our elders, went with Fortescue, looked at all the work that's being done, looked at our sites that are being protected, and I have to be honest and say that seeing the country and, you know, thinking about it being torn up was very difficult for our people too. But we are really heartened by the fact and the work that FMG are doing to protect those sites, to protect that environment, and that the major role that Njamal people can play as rangers and so forth in that process. So I guess it's about balancing it all out a little bit and trying to get the best outcomes on all the different levels. And it's good to be able to work with a mining company who respects that, I think, in what we're trying to do. So what we want to achieve out of this business JV is we want to involve into a corporate entity, basically. We will use our business ventures and address the social, cultural, economic and educational needs of our community. We want to put in strong governance structures where everyone has a role, everyone has a responsibility in the community. We want to form effective partnerships, and I can see some people that I've heard speak here today that we need to talk to about some of these things. We plan to become an influence in the Pilbara and the wider community in achieving true self-determination for Aboriginal people. That's our goal, and I guess it's just a case of watch this space. Thank you.
Thank you for having me to your beautiful country. I think this girl said it all for me. I come from the Pilbara, Panyu Njamal woman. And my people come from the area, centre of the Pilbara and Marble Bar, around that area. And they fought hard to get to this far, you know, and a lot of them are gone now, and, you know. And so I'm so happy that this has gone on, and more jobs for our kids and our culture. So everything a week ago went on just fine, and we couldn't say more happy. I wish some of those people who passed away last year were here to hear all this. I mean, see it happen, but unfortunately, they're just, you know, not here. And yeah, looking really bright for our kids' future, grandchildren and all that. And hopefully, yes, I've lost a word. Anyway, thank you.
I'd like to thank this mob, Njamal, for being here and sharing things with mining with us. And I'd like to thank the other guys I met yesterday around the back here from Broome or Wanna Point, Party Mob. Thanks for coming here. You're welcome to our Karma here.